Yeah, good morning, my dear student friends. This is Paramesh Kodshala, uh, Assistant Professor of Zoology from Government Degree College, Hyderabad. Welcome back to our video classes. Today, we are going to discuss some basic concepts of ecology, some basic terminology of ecology, and what are the components of ecology, and the definitions of various terms, in the ecology, and the interaction of organisms or animals and all these things. So, ecology, what is ecology actually? So, ecology is the study of living organisms in their natural environment and their interaction with one another along with the non-living environment. So ecology is the study of organisms, living organisms, and in their natural environment, as well as the interaction among them and among the living organisms, along with their non-living things also. That is the environment, the surroundings of that organisms. So that is in the broad way. Non-living things, comes up with the climate, the soil, moisture, rainfall, and all these things. That these constitute the non-living things or the environment. We can simply say. So the interaction between the animals, organisms, as well as the non-living things, that is the environmental factors, is the study of all these things together is defined as, is called as ecology. Let us, in ecology we have and so many ecosystems. So actually ecosystem is actually the functional unit of an ecology actually. So what is an ecosystem? So a system that includes all living organisms, that is the biotic factors, we say living organisms in an area, as well as its physical environment. That is just we have talked about. The physical environments constitutes the moisture, temperature, soil, rainfall, water availability, and type of climate, and it's all these things as a unit. All these functioning as a unit, that makes an ecosystem. So an ecosystem includes the living organism, that is abiotic factors, as well as the biotic factors, that is the physical environment, or abiotic factors we say, in together, that makes up an ecosystem. So an ecosystem is made up of plants, animals, microorganisms, soil, rocks, minerals, atmosphere, climate, and the interaction and with one another. Don't think that only a living organism, a living thing can influence, can interact with the other living thing. A living thing can also interact with the non-living thing. A living thing can also influence the non-living thing. A non-living thing also can influence the living thing. See, it is quite simple that a temperature of a particular area, climate, in a geographical area decides the vegetation over there, and the vegetation in return decides the population or the existence of the animals or the fauna, which directly or indirectly depend that vegetation. So this is how actually, as well as the soil, soil texture, or the minerals, or the soil type, or the minerals and the elements that are available in that particular soil. So these things, they decide the vegetation, the growth of vegetation in that particular area. So this is how living things and the non-living things interact with one another, and the living things how influence the non-living things, and non-living things influence the living things. Then community. What is community? So community is all the populations. What is population actually? Population is nothing but the the number of organisms of belong to a particular species is called populations, and all the populations of different species living and interacting in the same ecosystem, that constitutes the community. So the community is all the living organisms belong to different species, and they belong to different levels of organization, levels of topic level, of trophic system, that is the trophic levels. So all the organisms, all the populations that live in a particular area and interacting with one another at different levels constitutes the community of that ecosystem. So all the living things, community, contains only the living things. Then species. This is a well, known word to the biology students, that the biological definition of species. The group of organisms are the identical, not identical, the looking like same, the same organism which look alike and that can breed freely among themselves to produce a fertile offspring. Here the condition is that the organisms or the animals that live together in a particular geographical area, in a particular ecosystem in a broader way, and which can interbreed themselves and among themselves freely to produce a fertile offspring. The offspring must be fertile, because there may be some interbreeding between different species, but the offspring of the different species, which is in a hybrid species, produce a infertile offspring. But the interbreeding between the same species must produce a fertile offspring. So the biological definition of the species is that the group of organisms that which living in an area, living in an ecosystem in the biosphere in a broad way, with interbreeding among themselves freely to produce a fertile offspring, to produce a fertile young ones. In population, as we just talked about, population is the group of organisms of the same species which live in the same habitat at the same time where they can freely interbreed. So population is nothing but the group of individuals, organisms, or animals, or plants which live in a particular habitat, that can say in a particular geographical area or habitat in the same time. So the spaces and the temporal aspects are included here. So they live in a particular area, in a particular habitat, in a particular time, where, and they can freely interbreed among themselves, and they can freely interact among themselves, and biologically they become a population. Then what is diversity? So diversity is nothing but variation, we all know. So is it biodiversity? The diversity exists at different levels. We have genetic diversity, we have species diversity, we have population diversity, we have community diversity, we have ecosystem diversity, and all these things. So diversity in a simple words, which can applicable to all these levels, is the total number of different species, or systems, or genes, or populations in an ecosystem, and their relative abundance. So their abundance, that indicates the number of the numbers of that particular population or species. The abundance, the in the numbers, you can say how many species, how many individuals are there, how many species are there, how many populations are there, and the variance among themselves, how diversified them, how variant themselves, how different themselves from each other. At the same time, in the broader way, so they are have a common organizational similarity. So the biodiversity is nothing but the total number of different species or genes or populations or ecosystems or communities in an ecosystem or in a biosphere, in a geographical area, with their relative abundance. That is what is called biodiversity. Then comes to the habitat. So the habitat is actually the living area of an organism, of an of the species of an animal. So a habitat doesn't confine to the physical aspects. So it is the place. It is the area in which the type of environment includes the characteristic features of that particular environment. We can say that particular area. So that is what is an habitat is. So whether the habitat, well, we say echelon, grassland habitat, or aquatic habitat, we say desert habitat, that which includes or which depicts the characteristic features of that particular area or habitat. That is what is habitat is. So then energy and organisms. So as per the energy, organs, as per the nutrition and as per the energy from where these organisms get enriched by their nutrition or energy, basically energy. So we have the autotrophs. Autotrophs which can synthesize their own complex energy-rich organic molecules, or which can synthesize their own food. We can say that the organisms which can synthesize their own food from the inorganic molecules and from the sunlight and other things are called autotrophs. So they are self-reliant. So they prepare their own food. Simply we can say they prepare their own food. Best examples are all the green plants, in which the presence of chlorophyll enables them to prepare their own food, or prepare or synthesize the glucose molecules in the presence of light and carbon dioxide and water. So that is the process is called photosynthesis, as all we know, and these are called autotrophs, nutriently, and they are self-reliant. They don't depend on other organisms. We can simply differentiate the heterotrophs from autotrophs. That heterotrophs obtain their food, or depend for their food on the other organisms, or on the other animals or plants directly or indirectly. And the detrivores. So detrivores are the other type of organisms to which they obtain their nutrients from the or dead organic matter. We can simply say that. So the dead organic matter, the best example is we have so many mites, like wood mites, and we have so many arthropods, in mites, and we have earthworm is the best example. Some these are the organisms. They obtain their nutrients from the organic dead material or decaying material, we can say. So these are the decaying material. So the decay, the process of decay happens because of the these detrivores obtain their nutrients from the this dead organic matter. Then saprotrophs. Simply, this is something related to the the heterotrophic organisms which secretes digestive enzymes into dead organic matter and absorb the digestive material. These are also quietly related to detrivores, but detrivores are mainly we depict in the case of animals, and in case of plants or fungi or bacteria, that they are depicted as, or they are described as saprotrophs or saprophytes, we can say. So this is the fungi, that is the best example for saprotrophic nutritions. Then come to the feeding relationships. We have so many types of feeding relationships, that is predatory and foe, herbivory, parasite and host, mutualism, then competition, and so on. See, let us see what are they and how the relationship exists between two organisms in relation to their nutrition. Animal associations. Let's prey and predatory, in which one eats upon the other for nutrition. Simply, in which one animal eats the other. So the animal which is being eaten is called prey, and the animal which eats the other one is called predatory. Then parasite and host. This the living of one organism are in and in the internal or external surface of the body of other animal is called parasite and host relationship. So the parasite which lives on the external surface of the other animal is called ectoparasite, and the parasites which live on the internal parts of the other animal or other organism, that whatever it may be, in their blood, in their tissues, in their other cells, some other cells, is called parasitic host relationship. So here the parasite is the one which lives at the which lives in and on the other animal is and the host which gives shelter to the this parasite is called host. So this is the relationship where the one lives at the cost of the other. Simply we can say that. So the parasite getting shelter and food from the host, but the host in return do not get anything from the parasite, and moreover the parasite in most of the cases may cause some diseases or may cause some damage to the host organism. Then mutualism. Mutualism is in which both the organisms live in a relationship of win-to-win situation. So here they mutually benefited. Both the organisms get mutually benefited by this relationship, where one gives shelter to the other one. In return, it may get some nutrition from the its associated organism or animal. So we have so many examples for that, like the bacteria which lives in your body without doing any harm to or without causing any disease, and some bacteria are some like E. coli and some other bacteria, and especially when the ruminants in the elementary canal of the ruminants, where they get the cellulose material is get digested by this associate, mutually living bacteria in return, and they get shelter from the this ruminant animal. So these are the this is the relationship where simply we can say that there is a mutual benefit. Then competition is the thing, but competing for a, and when competition is simply, you can say that when the scarcity of availability, when the scarcity of availability of resource exists, or that resource or the scarcity or the availability of that particular component is very few or very low, there may be exist a competition between the organisms or the animals of same species or maybe other species. Sometimes the competition may also exist between the organisms of different species also. And if it is different species, that may be, that is called interspecific, and it is, if it is within the same species, it is called intraspecific. And the competition is mainly for shelter, food, or the mating. So the place of an organism in its environment is called niche. Yeah, come to the niche part. So niche is an actually is a functional role of an organism in its habitat. So an organism's habitat, like its role, its tolerance, and its limits in that particular habitat is called the called the niche. So let us have a broader a way of explanation about niche. See, two species. The competitive exclusion principle by G.F. Goss says that if two species within the same niche coexist in the same ecosystem, then one will be excluded from the community due to intense competition. This is what is competitive exclusion principle proposed by G.F. Goss. So what is the niche? How actually one species is eliminated? The niche of a species consists of its role in the ecosystem. That maybe the functional role of maybe the herbivore, it is the carnivore, it is a producer, and its tolerance limits, soil pH, humidity, and rainfall, and all these things, and its requirements for shelter, nesting sites, etc., and food and all these things. No, that varying from time. If these niche, what are the term, see, for example, there is a scarcity of a particular species on which the other species is dependent. See, for example, you take a grassland ecosystem where a deer lives over there, and then the population of deer is very low, and there are carnivores. For example, a leopard. The leopard is depending on the deers for its food. If there are more than one leopards, for example, there are 2 or 3 leopards, for example, but the availability of these deers, the population of the deers, or the availability of food of the deers is very scarce or less. So definitely there will be. So here the niche of the leopards, both the leopards or 2 or the 3 leopards is same. When the niche of these 3 or 2 leopards is same, so there will be a competition among these. So all these, the niche of all these leopards is same, and there is a competition for that securing the food, and certainly there will be a fight among these 3 for the sake of the food, and definitely one among them will be eliminated. This is how NH plays a role, plays a functional role in an ecosystem. So this is, you can observe, the pictorial representation of the niche species A and species B. When there is no overlapping, so coexistence is possible. And if there is a overlapping of niche, so species A and species B, there is some overlap between these two. The competition, occurs of course, but the interspecific competition here is, very low, we can say. But when both the species, the niche of these both the species overlaps in a broader way, in an deeper way, definitely there will be a severe competition among these 2 species, that leads to the. So for example, here species A and D, there will be broader and intense overlapping of severe overlapping of the niche, where one of the species has to be eliminated through because of that intense competitive exclusion, we can say. So this is all about the basic concepts of yeah, this is all about the ecology and the relative terms and terminology of an ecology, the basic concepts and definitions of this ecology, and all these things. Thank you. Thank you so much for your patience listening. In the next class, probably we are going to discuss elaborately the other aspects of an ecology. Um, Thank you so much.